Hello, my name is Dr. David Palmeter. I'm a practicing clinical psychologist and psychology professor. I've created this YouTube channel for parents and couples to help them to promote happiness, wellness, and resilience in their family lives. In this edition, I'd like to discuss the cultural forces that make it very, very difficult for couples to be in long-term and successful romantic relationships. There are at least 4 such cultural forces that work against the health, happiness, and resilience of couple life. The first of these is how much the culture romanticizes for single people what long-term relationships are like. Kind of the happily ever after syndrome that we see represented in cartoon movies that are very well known, or in other rom-coms that are out there. This idea that because we're well matched now, we're just going to be in this state of everlasting bliss. And it'll just happen to us because we are well suited for each other. Relatedly is this idea of unconditional love. On a popular Netflix series recently, I saw one person in the reality show say that that person's goal was to meet someone who would love that person unconditionally. And I'll tell you, as someone who's worked with couples for 30 years, and I myself have been married for just about that amount of time, I've never seen such a thing, and I doubt it exists. Thirdly, this concept of soulmate, that there's only this one best person out there, this idea. Imagine my soulmate. I'm single, I'm in my early 20s, and I'm living in Kentucky, and my soulmate's in Bangladesh. These and other ideas create an expectation for couples as they enter a long-term committed relationship. Imagine I thought that if I went to a given gym, let's say I desperately need to get in shape, I need to lose a large amount of weight, and if I join this gym, I will be able to sit in the lobby, read their materials, receive their instruction passively, and be able to accomplish all my goals. And that was my expectation, in part because of how the gym was marketed to me. And then I go into the gym and inevitably find that couldn't be further from the truth. Well, I'm going to start to think there's something wrong with the gym or something wrong with me, instead of realizing that the problem was all in the marketing and that there are gyms that do a very good job at helping people reach such goals. The second is how easy the culture makes for people to be unfaithful. For instance, I did a quick Google search last night for free sex chat and got over 787 million hits in 30 seconds. 787 million. That's more than double the population of the United States. Here I am in a long-term relationship with another person, and as happens in most, there are difficult times when it's hard to communicate with each other, and our sex life maybe goes off the rails, and I'm not open with what my needs are, or my partner is not with me. And it's just so easy to go online and to redirect our lives into that area. Or there's websites now that are created for people in committed relationships to have affairs with each other. One such website lists that they have more members than the population of California. So this makes it very difficult for couples. Also, the romantic idea feeds in, because if I run into someone and I have that initial infatuation, maybe at work, and that talking to that person just seems so superior to talking to the person I'm committed to, and it pulls up these ideas, well, maybe this was a better match because this is what I always thought romantic relationships would be like. And it creates this rich, fertile field for infertility to develop. The third factor is the divorce industry and how much money is profited in the divorce industry each year. Vice.com and the documentary Divorce Court both put the number at about $50 billion. I mean, imagine that, $50 billion. For that amount of money, we could give every man, woman, and child in the United States free noise-canceling headphones, which actually might be a better intervention for family life than divorce in general. So when you have an industry that profits that much from relationship failure, there's going to be some cultural influences towards it. And I've seen marketing campaigns suggesting to couples that if they get divorced, they'll be happier. Don't get me wrong, I think that and I've seen plenty of this, there's instances where divorce seems to be the best path forward for a family. I'm really speaking to how much the culture seems to tacitly encourage that outcome. The fourth, and why I've created this YouTube channel specifically, is the huge education deficit that exists for couples. What is it? What can couples do to promote wellness in their relationship? What are sort of the baseline standard things that you need to do to promote a long-term healthy relationship? In my experience, couples have no idea, or very little idea. The more psychologically minded couples have intuited some of these things, but there's other aspects of this that are just difficult to reach based solely on human intuition. Now, you really need to consider the science that's available on relationship health and relationship dysfunction. Tolstoy had a great line, I think is so true. Happy families are all alike, and every unhappy family is unhappy in its own way. What Tolstoy, I think, the point he was trying to make, what any practicing couples therapist knows is true, is that there's almost an infinite number of ways that things can break in relationships, but a fairly discrete list of healthy things that couples can do to make the relationship work. And that's what I wish to deliver to you in this YouTube channel. I remember one of the largest wastes of time I believe I engaged in my professional career was to give talks to couples who were right on the verge of getting married. And I would try to communicate to them some of these truths about the work that's required for relationships and some of the techniques that are needed on a weekly basis and the discipline that's required to do them. And it was so difficult to get that message across because folks were in the throes of this romanticized imagery about relationship. So I hope that those of you tuning in are at some point, either before you're committing to a relationship or early on or before things have gotten especially toxic, that you can use this information in a preventative way. And for those of you who are in a toxic relationship, it may be best to seek out the services of a qualified couples therapist. The information I give can augment, hopefully, that work. So that's it for this edition. Please tune in for subsequent chapters where I'll be reviewing 7 essential, what I believe are essential strategies for couples to use in order to promote happiness, wellness, and resilience in their relationship. Until next time, please remember, we are made for love.